and at the rear of the cabin. All exits are also shown on the safety card. The nearest exit may be behind you. In case of an emergency evacuation, you must leave all your hand baggage behind. To fasten a seatbelt, insert the metal end into the buckle and secure by pulling the loop.
Hello, thanks as always for pressing play. Now the sharp-eyed amongst you might have noticed that I'm not in Ireland. I'm actually in Faro in Portugal. I'm here to walk a chunk of the Rota Vicentina, which is a long-distance trail down the west coast of Portugal. So I flew in to Faro Airport earlier from Shannon, took the bus to Decathlon to get a gas canister. The train's due in about 30 minutes. And that's going to take me to Lagos, which is further west. Overnight there in a campsite right in the middle of the city. And then, yeah, the bus first thing tomorrow morning to head north up to Porto Covo. So there we go, end of day one, ending it with a local IPA. It's a pretty good one, this is actually. Yeah, so good day. Left home and then by car, aircraft, bus, walk, train, another walk, made it to this place, which is the Trindade campsite in Lagos. Yeah, it's a pretty wild place. There's not a blade of grass anywhere. You kind of pitch up on sand, and yeah, this bit is the sort of camper van area, and it's pretty nice. Big plane trees, and yeah, it looks alright. And then you go through a gap in the wall into the tent area, which is like some Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome kind of area with all these bohemian folks who live there. Strange herbal smells wafting around the site, and yeah, it's an interesting spot. Yeah, probably not one to seek out, but it does the job because it's right in the middle of the city. So much so actually that there's a big kind of wall all the way around it with barbed wire all around the top. It's yeah, I'll get some pictures of it in the morning and let you see what it looks like. Say that again. There goes the bus. That was the bus from Lagos to Porto Covo, which is where I'm about to start the walk. That was a 2-hour journey. It felt like miles and miles, and to think I'm going to walk most of that over the next few days. I suppose there's always a little bit of nervousness, you know, setting off on something like this on your own. I'm probably a little bit older than the average backpacker. I'm carrying a lot of gear. I've got bad knees, bad back, and all that good stuff. But yeah, looking forward to it. We've had some really horrendous weather on the route, on the drive up as well. Real kind of throwing down with rain and strong winds. Just as we came into Porto Covo, the sun came out, so I'm taking that as an omen. And we're walking. Behind me is Porto Covo, lovely little place, although I didn't hang around because I was so keen to get going after, well, a month of planning and you know, all the thought and all the travel to get here. So yeah, delighted to be underway. Oh yeah. So that's the end of day one. I'm in Vila Nova de Milfontes, having walked 23 kilometres down from Porto Covo. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, all the kind of stress and worry about did I bring everything and am I fit enough and all that kind of stuff just fades away as soon as you hit the trail, as soon as you start walking. Yeah, it was pretty challenging. It was, of the 23 kilometres, probably 19 were on sand, kind of on loose, deep, kind of sand dune sand, if you know what I mean. So tough walking. So here goes day 2. So my luck's in. This is the ferry. So it's only a few hundred meters across there to the other side of the river. But as I said earlier, without that, or without this ferry trip, that's a kind of 4 or 5 kilometre detour. So yeah, delighted to be on. So I've not bothered looking at the weather for today. I figured I can't do anything different to what I was planning to do. I can't carry less gear, I can't carry more waterproofs. So yeah, I will just take my chances. So far, however, as you've probably seen, there's the storm's rolling up the coast. There's a rain shower just unloaded on us. And well, looking pretty bright for a while, but it's only a matter of time before the next one comes. Third day in Portugal, and as yet I haven't had any sardines, so at the risk of getting kicked out of the country, I thought I'd better put that right. Yeah, in the mini supermarket in Vila Nova, where I was yesterday, they had 8 shelves of sardines. So I've gone with Bon Petisco, and these are spicy sardines. So yeah, let's see how they go. quick wrap up on my second day of walking. I'm in Almograve, and yeah, I'm staying in a guest house tonight. So I've got a room, shared bathroom in a little kind of villa place. Fantastic. Best thing is it's got a washing machine, so everything's washed, dried. I've also had a Nepalese curry in the village, which was fantastic, and completely guilt-free given the amount of calories I've burnt in the last couple of days. So quite a long one tomorrow. I think it's 23 kilometers again, campsite at the other end, and yeah, hoping for more of the same as we had today, which was fantastic views, spectacular seas, quite a bit of sand, but yeah, hopefully tomorrow the tide will be out during most of the day, the high tides later in the evening, so that should mean I can do a bit of beach walking tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. See you tomorrow. So I'm walking out of the town of Almograve. I will find out how to say it. Just had a little breakfast in the grocery store come bakery. So I had coffee, bought all the water I'm going to need today, snacks, sardines, bread rolls, coffee, pastel de nata for €4.50 or something. So fantastic stuff. On the trail a little bit earlier than usual. It's about just after 8. Helped in part by sharing a house with the noisiest Germans you've ever met, and yeah, they thundered around at about 6:30 this morning as they left. So I've been awake since then. So today the forecast is pretty terrible, rain all day. Well, starting at about 9 o'clock, so in the next hour or so. Peaking at kind of 5 PM this afternoon, so hopefully I won't be far away from camp by then. And ideally we'll be sort of pitched and set up before the heaviest rain comes. How about that for a way to start the day? Praia da Almograve, beautiful stuff. I made the little gap through the rocks just before the tide arrived, so that saved me a bit of extra walking. Didn't save me these steps though. I'm inland a few hundred metres, just back in from the cliffs, which means there's no wind and it's still for the first time in a couple of days really. So I'm in the pine forests that are again just inland from the sea. Quick coffee and some Belvita dust. Unfortunately these have been in the rucksack and that's about the biggest piece I can get. So not ideal for dipping, but I'll take my chances. Yeah, I'm loving this section through the pine forest here. Yeah, it's been nothing like it the last couple of days, and I know the bit I did last year there was nothing quite like this. But it's kind of all in sand and yeah, kind of spread out pine trees like this. Yeah, just beautiful. Really, really pleasant walking. Must be getting nearer to the coast again because the sound of the waves is, as I said before, you can hear it roaring within a couple of miles of the sea, and it just gets louder and louder the closer you get, and it's getting louder. Town of Cavaliero, which I wasn't expecting to be in. The route I'd plotted, which I've loaded onto my watch, went straight down the coastline, but when it came to it, there's actually a gorge, and the waymarked route actually brings you inland around the gorge and back out to the coast. So yeah, a little bit further today than I was expecting, but according to the sign across the road, we should have done 10 kilometers by now, and we've got 12 to go. Right, we've done 11 and a half so far, and the 12 to go hopefully is about right. So yeah, usual kind of hard day, fantasizing about cold fizzy drinks. So I've put that right, and yeah, just taking 5 minutes before we crack on. I think there's a lighthouse coming up, so something to have a look at. Maybe have lunch at the lighthouse, we'll see. Guess somebody around here is not so keen on the tourists. because they've sawn down the signs. Okay, 18 kilometers in and 6.5 to go. For the first time in a long time, I'm out of the wind in this on this road between these bushes, and yeah, I can't tell you how good it feels. It's just been relentless today. It's kind of buffeting non-stop, so you're kind of staggering around the whole time, which has been really tough. The good news is the rain didn't materialise, well, not so far at least. A couple of quick showers, but nothing too serious just yet. Yeah, and as I say, you feel the effect of being out of the wind. Suddenly I've picked up speed a little bit, and the head feels a little bit better. But yeah, out on the top of the cliffs there, when it was just kind of battling against the wind, was getting pretty grim. Good evening from Zambujeira do Mar. So walked 26 kilometres today, which felt quite a long way. Yeah, it started off really nicely. Fantastic breakfast. Walk along the beach, the pine forests, gained a bit of ground and up onto cliffs which were a bit higher and a bit more spectacular, a bit more kind of rugged than the previous couple of days. But the weather hasn't been great. The wind has just been constant. My cheeks and whole head is glowing red from the beating that the wind's given it. And for the last hour and a half of the walk, it was raining pretty heavily as well. A couple of bursts where it was absolutely torrential. So yeah, put a bit of a downer on it, especially being kind of tired and loaded down. Don't worry, I'm not expecting sympathy. But yeah, it was a tough old day. I arrived into town and it was still beating down, and I had a moment of weakness. I couldn't face going to set the tent up in the rain, and so yeah, checked into openbooking.com on the app and booked a place, walked to it, and was let straight in. And yeah, so I've got another little guest house. It's probably the smallest room I've ever seen, but it will do the job for tonight. That sounded like a lot of complaining, didn't it, for somebody who's on the holidays? Oh, I just had a really bad pizza and the beer's rubbish. I'm having a great time. I hate for this to sound like I'm complaining, but anyway, really good day. Plenty more camping to do, so don't worry about the fact that I've had 2 nights now consecutively in guest houses. Yeah, the forecast looks a lot better for the next couple of days. So yeah, looking forward to being back on the canvas again tomorrow night. Good morning. That's Zambujeira do Mar. That's the Atlantic doing its thing. Still spectacular waves out there at the moment. The after effects of the storm that's passed over the last few days. The sun's out, the wind's dropped, so we're hoping for a much better day than the last couple. Just respite from the wind has got to be a good thing. It feels a whole lot more Portuguese. So I'm walking to Odeceixe today, which is where I started last year's walk, which I'll try and explain with a map or something later on. But yeah, so this is the last bit that's kind of new to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. It looks a great section. The weather forecast is really good. I've got a bag full of food that I stocked up from the cafe this morning. So yeah, feeling a lot more positive than I was last night when, you know, things were getting a bit rough. But yeah, looking forward to a good day. I'm just taking a few minutes in one of these pine forests. After all, I'm on my holidays. These are such peaceful places, albeit with the Atlantic crashing away a couple of 100 meters behind me. You can hear that roar that I've been talking about. But once you actually get into these trees, out of the wind a little bit, yeah, just so peaceful and quiet. So yeah, I'm gonna spend, oh, maybe more than 5 minutes, maybe an hour. Benvindo, welcome, bienvenue, willkommen, closed. this is what it's all about. So I just spent about an hour sitting on top of the rock there, just watching these waves beating across these rocks. Just unbelievably impressive. And I don't know, I'm sure on a GoPro I'm wasting my time, but you look down that coast, it just goes on and on forever with the waves rolling in, the spray kind of being lifted up by as the waves crash into the shore. It is just awesome. And this is what the you know, what I think the walk is all about. We've had the dunes further north, but this this rocky section and the kind of coves and little entries into the landscape with the waves beating into it. That's what it's all about. Just passed through the little fishing village of Azenha do Mar, and this is their natural harbour. I'm kind of nervous turning my back on this lot. Yeah, the fishing boats are all tucked safely away up here because yeah, I don't think anybody's going out in this today. So 2.2 kilometres left to go, 21 done. Behind me is the village of Odeceixe. Exactly 1 year ago today I actually was dropped off by the bus there and started the walk south, the first 4 days of which I'll be retracing over the next 4 days coming up. Beyond the village, the hillside there, you can see it's kind of black. Well, you probably can't because it's a GoPro, but all those hills off into the distance are all blackened by the forest fires that happened this year. Amazingly lucky that the village was saved, whether it was luck or whether there was a huge kind of effort to stop the flames coming any further this way. But it's such a beautiful place that I'm delighted to see that it survived. So we're carrying on, or I'm carrying on down the valley to where you can see the bridge across the river there, and then up round to the left is the campsite up on the hill. That is not a minute too soon.